Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name is the King Coda, and welcome to another video. And in today's video, I'm actually re-uploading a video I've already done. Because, see, I've already made a guide on the Spiral Abyss. As a matter of fact, I'm reusing its thumbnail for this video. But the reason why I took that video down, and why it's no longer available for you guys, is because I don't feel like I got the most accurate information I could, or the most helpful information I could out there. So I want to try and help you guys out a little bit more. I try and make sure my videos are the most helpful I can possibly make them. So if you do happen to enjoy this video, find it at all helpful, let me know by subscribing, leaving a comment, liking the video, whatever you want to do to help me know. And with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into today's video. So first off, the Spiral Abyss. It's kind of the only version of endgame we have in Genshin Impact. It's on this little island over here in Muskreef. And it, like I said, it's the only endgame we get. And it changes every 2 weeks, I believe, is the rotation for it. I'm going to show you guys how to unlock it and give you guys some helpful tips for it. So for unlocking it, we'll just ignore these electro slimes. You can see here we have 3 Seelie that are located around the area. These 3 Seelie will be how you unlock the air current here. That will give you a boost up in order to reach this portal. The Seelie are pretty obviously, there's one at the end of that little area there. There's one off to the left, and I believe there's one right around there off to the right. Pretty easy to find. If you guys actually don't know, if you come across a Seelie statue and you can't find where the Seelie specifically is, let me kill these real quick. If you don't know, whenever you come across a Seelie statue and you don't know where the Seelie itself is, if you activate your elemental sight, which is the little eyeball icon up there next to the map, and it's also there on the quick access wheel, if you activate your elemental sight, a little current will go in the direction of the Seelie. Now, I can't see it on this one because I've already led the Seelie back, but if this is empty for you and you open up your elemental sight, it'll have little wind currents going this way, so you know that's the way to go to collect the Seelie. So, once you've activated this portal, or this air current, you'll be able to take this up and go to the portal. There's also a chest right over here on the ground that you can collect by using this air current also, so keep that in mind. And as we glide through the portal, we enter a little loading screen and come out on the other side. I do believe you can also get here by starting there and using Kaya. His E ability will allow you to like walk across the water, so that's one way I guess you could get here aside from using the portal. Now, you can come here before AR20, however you cannot enter the Spiral Abyss until you are AR20. So this will be towards the end of the prologue for you. You can come here like right before you fight Dvalin, basically. And when you unlock it, you're of course going to get some Primo Gems for unlocking the waypoint, and now you can teleport here in order to not have to take that portal every time. So, whenever you first enter into the Spiral Abyss, the only thing you're going to be able to do is floor 1. And you have to clear all 3 chambers in order to unlock floor 2. And then likewise, you have to clear all 3 chambers in order to unlock floor 3. Now, whenever I say clear all 3 chambers, you do not have to 3-star all 3 chambers like I have here. You have to have a minimum of 6 stars in order to unlock the next floor. So, you have to have 6 stars here, 6 stars here, 6 stars here, and so on and so on. You do not have to have all 9. All 9 is for you to go back and just complete it. When you first enter into the Spiral Abyss, I do recommend you do the first 3 floors, because doing so gets you Zhongling for free. And because you're probably still early game, having Zhongling is a huge bonus. She's one of the best characters in the game, especially of the Pyro element. Her Pyronado which is her ultimate, lasts for a super long time and does a lot of damage. Gubo, her E ability is also really good, and she has some pretty good passive talents as well. Now, if you already have a Zhongling, don't worry because all of her constellations are amazing. Specifically, her C1, C4, and C6 are her like super big ones to get. Her C4 especially is one of the best ones to get because it will increase the duration of your ultimate by 40%, which basically allows you to get an extra rotation out of it. So that's one of the major reasons to come and do the Spiral Abyss as soon as you can. But now I hear you saying, well, I'm having trouble clearing the Spiral Abyss, and I'm especially getting stuck at around floor 5. This is a common issue because what you can see here, I have my Overworld team, right? These are the teams I take out to go hunt for chests, do quests, that kind of stuff. I have my Yanfei, Diona, Xingqiu, and Bennett. One thing that might be very tempted is... So you might want to put this exact same team on as one, and then you don't have any characters leveled to put on the second half. So you're putting like your Kaya, Amber, and whatever. You know, there's a big discrepancy in the capabilities of Team A to Team B. So instead, what you could do is kind of mix the two parties like this. So you can see I still have my Yanfei as a main DPS there for the top team, and I have the Diona that I had as a healer also up on that team. And then for the second half, I have my Bennett, which can work as a main DPS, and as a swap DPS to the Xingqiu. So those two are helping to boost up that second team. And those are the two characters I have leveled compared to the Kaya or the Amber that I'm having to use because I don't have very many options because I'm early game. Don't pay attention to the fact that I have almost every character in the game. That's not important for what I'm talking about. So... whenever you get to floor 5, you're going to want to divide up your main team to give you a chance to clear the floors. But what other advice do I have? Well, one of the first things you want to do whenever you are entering into a floor is you want to check what the enemies on the floor are. You can see down here in the bottom, it has start and check. So I want to check the enemies here, and you can see this one has just a bunch of Electro Slimes. This has a bunch of Hilichurls. And this one has Hilichurls and Electro Slimes. So some fire or some cryo characters can really help me out on this clearing these 3 floors. So knowing that, I'm going to bring some pyro or some cryo characters. And you do that for each new floor whenever you are encountering it, so you can better figure out how to split up your team. This becomes a big deal past Chamber 5. Because now there's a front half and a second half. You can see here we have a cryo enemy in the first half and a pyro enemy in the second half. So that means I'm going to want to bring pyro to fight against the cryo enemies. I'm going to want to bring either hydro or electro or cryo, preferably like Barbara or somebody, in order to fight the second half here. And though that distribution can work throughout the entirety of the chamber, so they won't mix you up by putting mostly cryo enemies up top and mostly pyro enemies down bottom, and then the second you go to the next floor, it's mixed. It tends to stay as it is. You can see we still have cryo there, still have pyro there, still have pyro down there, still have, well, there's no real cryo shields up there. So they don't try to mix you up. You just have to pay attention to the enemies that are on each floor. Okay, so I'm paying attention to the enemies that are on the floor, and I know to mix up my teams, but I'm still having trouble with getting 9 stars. And that's unfortunately a thing that it comes down to your account and how far along you are in your account. I'm going to kind of break down how quickly you should be getting through this. Right whenever you first get here at level 20, you should clear all 3 of the first floors. Maybe not 9-star them, but you should clear all 3 of these. If you have at least a decent DPS character, you should be fine. Then once you get all these, you'll get Xiangling. You might try at floor 4. Probably can't do it. Come back later. About AR 25 to 30, come back. Try floor 4, floor 5. Maybe into floor 6. Can't quite do it. Come back later. Floor 35 to 40. Now you're able to clear all the way to 8. That's kind of the progression there. And then you can go back and you can finish 9-starring these as you want. So that is progression in the first half of the Spiral Abyss. It's pretty simple. These don't change once you clear them. That's it. Once you get these 300 primos per floor, that's it. So spend those wisely. But then you're going to unlock what's called the Abyssal Moonspire. Now, the Abyssal Moonspire resets every 2 weeks. You can see I have 9 days left to complete this. I'm actually going to be completing this live today, the day this video is going out. I will be streaming here on YouTube, so come hang out. So this will reset every week. Floors 9 and 10 are always the same. They never change every reset. They are always the same. At least that is how it has been for the past multiple updates, so I don't see it changing anytime soon. You can see the rewards are half of what they were before, and that's because they do reset. These are a constant source of Primo Gems for you. And you are still trying to get 9 stars. So these will always be the same. This always has the same enemies on the top in the second half. I'll be going more into thinking about floors as well as a few recommended team members to bring in just a little bit. But yeah, floor 9 and 10 are always the same. Floor 11 is kind of a special floor. It's what I like to call the gacha floor, and that's because it's always beneficial to whoever is currently available in the gacha. So you can see we have a child, aka Tartaglia, available in the gacha. So the blessing of the Abyssal Moon is for the 2 characters that are going to be in the gacha this rotation, as well as if you go onto the floor 11 ley line, you can see we have pyro damage being increased by 60% and hydro damage being increased by 60%. I'll go a little bit into these ley line disorders here in a second, but you can see this basically makes it to where Hu Tao and Child are the best characters you can get running through floor 11. And then floor 12, this time it's kind of a DPS check. Last time it was a little bit less severe, but it was more of a, can you plan out your team comp and rotations correctly? This is basically the ultimate test to make sure your account is perfect. So looking here at floor 1, you can see at the very top, this is a ley line disorder. This is the basic mechanic of each floor. Each floor has a different ley line disorder. And the ley line disorders on floor 11 will change every couple weeks. So that's the one that is always more difficult to work on if you don't have the characters from the gacha, because they're always changing to be beneficial to the characters in the gacha. Like we had recently Corrosion, because Kokomi was in the banner, and she's a healer. So they want you to have that healer. They want you to go get Kokomi. That's how the ley line disorders basically work. So you can see here in floor 1, pyro damage dealt by all party members is increased by 75%, and overload is increased by 200%. And again, we have a bunch of electro enemies inside of the chambers. So that means if you bring a pyro character, you know, if you bring your Amber from early game, or if you happen to have a Diluc or something, you'll cream your way through floor 1. And then at floor 2, we have cryo damage is increased, and the duration of frozen is greatly increased. And if we look at the enemies, we have some hydro enemies. So that means that if we freeze them with, say, our Kaya, that means they'll be frozen for longer, and our damage done to them will be increased. And that's just the way it is all the way through. So remember, you're going to look at the ley line disorder and the enemy lineup to decide what teams you're bringing in. And as I said, floor 9 and floor 10 have not changed for the past, I don't even know how long. I don't think they've ever changed. So their ley line disorders are always the same. So bear that in mind. Recommended characters to bring are a pyro character. Even if it's just Amber, having a pyro character leveled up will save you a lot of time, because there are a lot of cryo shields and a lot of hydro shields, and a pyro character, especially Amber's burst, can shred those shields incredibly fast. Cryo character like Kaya, if you happen to have her Ganyu, of course, Ayaka. These are excellent characters at freezing as well as dealing with hydro shielded characters. So having one of these leveled up will save you a lot of effort. And an Anemo character. Now he's cheekily on the thumbnail, I don't know if you noticed, but Venti is one of the best characters for the Spiral Abyss, and that's because his burst sucks up enemies just from all over the place and puts them in one confined spot for you. If you don't have them, Sucrose works just as well as a cheaper option, as well as, of course, Kazuha, my favorite character, or one of my favorite characters. If you happen to have him, he's also great at grouping your enemies. And the reason is because there are a lot of floors where they give you a very short time window and will throw a bunch of enemies at you. And you're going to want to group them up as close as possible in order to kill them as quickly as possible in order to save on time. So an Anemo character can help a lot with it, even the Anemo Traveler. However, I have a different recommendation for the Traveler. I recommend you put the Traveler as a Geo Traveler, at least for the first 8 floors. Beyond that, you can, of course, swap. But the reason is because there is a thing called Protect the Monolith. Let me see if I can show you this myself real quick. So you will have some cases where you have to do something where you have to protect a central monolith. And it'll spawn enemies from all around, and usually like archers in the corners. Now, if you place the Traveler's shield... Let me get rid of these guys so they don't interrupt.
Let's light it up! Everybody stand back!
So if you put down the Traveler's rock, you see I get hit from here, but if I'm behind it, and he decides to shoot, oh, I don't get hit. The monolith won't get hit from back here either. And you can see I also have Ningguang's shield. Ningguang's shield works the same way. It blocks projectiles. So you can put, 2 Traveler boulders around the monolith and a Ningguang shield around the monolith. And the monolith will be pretty safe as long as these are up. And, you'll be refreshing them, doing damage to enemies all throughout. So that's kind of a recommendation for the Geo characters there. And so, guys, I think that about does it for everything that has to do with the Spiral Abyss as it stands right now. If I forgot anything, please let me know in the comments section down below. I tried to make sure that I covered everything. I didn't cover ley line disorders last time, so I really want to make sure I covered that in this video. But anyways, I'll see you guys in a future video. Peace.